Hey everybody, VP with Metaverse News 1 here, and today we are going over one of the primary games inside of the Cardania ecosystem. If you guys remember, I just did a big introductory video on this showing that you can get a lot for very little. And in particular, you can get a lot for little on the land game. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And I have a co-host with me who's going to be with me throughout most of these series. His name is the Wizard of Raz. He is one of the assistant developers on this game. So Raz, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about what you do.
Thank you very much, VP. I am the Wizard of Raz, and I'm a community manager for the Discord of Cardania, and I'm also like you said, an assistant developer on the Enter the Ultraverse card game, and just a big fan of what we're doing here. So, yeah, let's get started.
Yeah, so he's going to know the ins and outs a little more than I am, so it's pretty much just going to be me asking him questions for a little bit deeper knowledge here. Now, Raz mentioned the Discord. We're going to leave a link down below in the description to the Discord, and I highly recommend that you join it if you're interested in this game at all. The community is great, and they will answer any questions you have. And we always have different activities going on to where you can actually win more free stuff. This is all about just getting free stuff simply for participating. It is tremendous. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the land game. And the land game starts here at Planet Cardania. Doesn't really look like a planet, looks more like a ship with, but you can kind of see the different biomes inside of it. And that's going to correspond to the land itself. And this here is what the land is going to look like. These are the different...
Well, it's funny that you mentioned a ship because it is actually a mega structure. We haven't really quite coined it as a planet, but more so a mega structure with different layers. So there's actually layers underneath these surface layers that are the land that you see here.
Well, this is why I have you here to explain these things to me, because yeah, if I didn't know any better, I thought that was the planet itself. But yeah, that does make sense. And these here are the terraforms that will go inside of it. And so go a little bit into these terraforms a bit more. What do they mean? What do they do? What place are they going to have in the game? Why should I own them? You know, anything you can just kind of tell us from an introductory level. Go ahead and do that now, because I don't really know how to explain them too well.
Sure. Well, actually, as you can see, they have very distinct colors and aesthetic features that separate each other. And then you have, of course, the labels that you see there corresponding those colors. So grass, rocky, artificial, desert, and so on have different resource types specifically that they produce themselves. Grass produces greens, rocky stone, artificial glass, desert sand, and so on. Like I said, volcanic is magma, and these are unique to those specific terraforms. And of course you see the prismatic there. Now the prismatics, real quick, can give a quick little rundown of what the prismatics are. They are a specific, unique type of land. They are those pretty ones you see in the top left there, yeah. And they were dropped. There was only 250 of them in the collection of 20,000 terraforms that we have. And they were dropped to holders of our gauntlet, the affectionately termed gauntlet from the Discord community, holders of all 7 colors of our founders cards, the very first, one of the very first mints that we ever had. If you had all 7 colors of those founders cards, red, green, blue, purple, orange, black, and white, then you were dropped a prismatic land. And that prismatic land produces quantum dark energy. And that's a specific resource that will be used. It is only used currently for higher level card upgrades. And in the future, very, very high priced trades. So,
yeah. And just so everybody knows, if you don't have one of these lands, it's not too late. You can get them on the secondary market, but they are not cheap like everything else is. We'll look at prices in just a moment. But out of curiosity, I think you told me, how many of these terraforms do you have? I have 48, and I thought I was a whale. But I am not, apparently. You have twice as much as I do, I think, don't you?
Oh, geez. Yeah, I have let's say I have over 100.
Yeah. So just so you know, just so everybody knows, you can make an impact in this game by having probably 5 or 6. You don't.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
What,
I would say you can make you can make actually an impact in the game by owning one. We have been and will continue for the foreseeable future to be constantly collecting resources and our RAD token through ownership of these terraforms when connected to our Nexus. And that's our kind of Web3 hub, the interaction between all things Web3, all of our collections, then how they interact with our ecosystem.
Yeah, everything interacts with each other, and it's really easy and user friendly. Once you get used to it, you'll understand. But speaking of those resources, what's great about these is once you buy one, you're going to want more because everything you see here, and I know it's very small, counts as a resource. This red stripe right here is a cursed river. And so if I have this exact land right here, I see a solar shrine. I see.
It's a good eye. Sometimes people mistaken the solars for the golden shrines.
We've all almost done it. Yeah. I
And
see.
vice versa. I think people have listed for low.
Right. I see copper down here. I see darkwood trees. So if I have all this, and I own this piece of land right here, I'm getting all of these resources. Is that correct?
Correct. Every epic, you can harvest those resources. You even see those bones in there. Those are fossils. That's a secondary resource. A lot of these lands pictured here give a good example of secondary resources, which are just another added asset, a token, if you will, to pull from these lands. So it's really good to see those with a lot.
And for those of you who are not tuned into the Cardano ecosystem, Ross said epic, EPOCH. And by that, we mean every 5 days. That's an epic in the Cardano ecosystem. So you will be getting dropped resources every 5 days, provided you remember to harvest them. I'm going to harvest mine today to show you what that looks like. But yeah, you just stockpile these things over time. And if you act soon, you're going to have a lot by the time the game releases, really even with just a few of these terraforms. So let's look at those resources real quick. Now, RAD is the in-game token for Cardania. I know that. But a lot of these, I can kind of assume what they do. But since I have you here, Roz, I want to go over these a little more.
Sure.
So let's talk about the use case for a lot of these things. Now, I know you might not know for sure, but if you know anything, I'm going to assume things like stone and dark wood, light wood, maybe even leather and fur are going to be used for building, fair to say?
Yeah, building, maybe armor crafting, unit production, those kinds of things. So, like you said, we're focusing on the Terraform game here, which is crafted a la Clash of Clans, Warcraft, which are real-time strategy and like top-down territory defense games, where you produce units to go out and fight or protect your resources and your land, and you build behind defenses. You have a main citadel or a main base. We have a citadel update coming soon, which you'll be able to start with that. I do not know what resources are used to build those, what they will be. I just know that a citadel will be kind of like your main hub, your town hall, your main barracks.
Okay.
But yeah, speculation is pretty close to what, surface value here. You can see that most of the things now, runes and anti-gravity clouds and stuff like that can have a myriad of uses, and who knows. But like the things that you said, the pretty basic building materials, stone, copper, iron, that kind of stuff. And then, like you said, leather, fur, meat, standard gaming, but also real life kind of things. So we can kind of tie them to almost certain uses.
So what would you say about the liquids here? Saltwater, freshwater, cursed liquid, funky liquid, things like that. Probably not used for building purposes. What do you think they will be used for?
Um, to be honest, potion crafting.
That makes
Um,
sense.
yeah, different buffs, different maybe you're maybe if you're going up against a stone, you buff your units with water. I don't know. That's such a that's an out there speculation maybe, but like those kinds of things that are things that I look at. If it's not potion crafting, then probably something like a buff or liquids, maybe. Yeah, like cursed liquids or like cursed nanites, maybe a debuff. Going in, or it could be something that's negative for your land. Everybody's affected by like cursed nanites in the air. They're just always decreasing health,
Or,
whether you're
or,
friend or foe.
or toxic waste, maybe.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. So you think these things that are floating around in the air might provide the same purpose, but more for a negative than a positive?
Possibly. Yeah, that's where I think my speculation, my theory crafting lies with that. But as again, full disclaimer again, probably every 90 seconds I'll be saying it. I am not certain on that at all, and I have no insider information. I will let you know if something is positive or not.
No, that's fine. You know a lot more than I do still, so that's it's good to have you around to bounce these questions off of. Now, the prized mineral in all of Cardania, obviously, is Cardanium. This is the rarest primary mineral that we have. Any ideas what this might be used for? It already has some use now, but in the land game itself, have you got any intel on this?
As the terraform game gets rolling, I could only see it as something maybe uh, highly sought after as like a trade item, like maybe like these gems. I don't quite know of its like reactive properties. Like radium can you can kind of guess it's radioactive,
Mm-hmm.
but cardanium, I'm not quite sure if it's just going to serve as like a diamond. That's what I would assume. The gems are just an assortment of just precious gems, but I would say cardanium, in my speculation, would be just since it's the rarest primary mineral, either a very, very strong building resource, like the highest possible building fortification, or just a high-priced trade item.
Okay, because I do know our founder, who we call Captain, does talk about it a lot, and he probably doesn't talk about it a lot for no reason. So I think it's going to be pretty important, regardless of what it's used for. Now, my last question to you while we're here is this one here, energy, and it's kind of a standalone resource, and we'll see why in a moment. But any deep intel, any alpha on energy and what it's going to do?
Well, I can only say uh, rad is produced by your power level, and energy is produced by your quantum flux level.
Yeah, we'll
They're
look at
both
that. We'll look at that once we see CNFT tools in a moment. But
okay.
do you know what it actually
Well,
does?
other than the first set of resources needed to upgrade card levels,
Right.
again, I have no idea what it does, but it's definitely going to be important. Seeing its position on this list here and knowing it's tied to the metadata.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And the reason why we go over this is because it's always good to have as much intel as you can when you're buying these things. Anytime you're buying land before the game releases, you're getting it cheaper, which is good, but you're getting almost no information behind it, which is frustrating. So even though we might not be able to give you too much alpha on this, we try to give you a little bit, because now what I want to do is I want to go to the one place, and I just referenced this. It's called CNFT Tools. I'm going to link this down below in the description as well. And let me expand my window here. So we are here at CNFT.tools. Now, CNFTs are Cardano's version of NFTs. So any NFTs you want to look at and check out and run sorting on them by price or by quality, You can do all that right here. So the first thing you're going to want to do is put it in dark mode, if I want to recommend that. And then from there, you will go to the search bar, type in Cardania, and these are all the things you can look at. We're going to go to Terraforms, and I am immediately going to sort by price. So you can see the floor for this is 98 ADA.
Was that in USD, like $35?
30, right around $35, and you can be a landholder, and you can get a land with stuff on it.
Yeah, like you've got the defensive flora, the burning man trap. You've got those really cool Prisma leaves. I think they look aesthetically awesome.
And it's the rarest tree in the game, right?
Yes, it is. It's the rarest wood. I think they call it wood, right, on there on the side.
Yeah.
And then purple, alien technology, or ruins rather. And that gets you the cool thing about the ruins is they're actually tiered by the color. So while lithoglyphs get you that would get you orange runes, and like red runes and blue runes, and it's like a specific different resource. The ruins and the alien technology will get you a specific threshold of research points. And Captain has specifically said in the Discord that research points will be necessary for crafting time or crafting. So when it comes time to build or craft things or discover things, that will be directly tied to being able to do it faster or more efficiently. So that's kind of exciting to see that, and then know that, like, oh, maybe people weren't thinking quite so much about which color that they had. So the purple and orange ones get you a little bit more.
They're actually better, yeah. And so these things right here, you can see them from time to time. This one looks like a really good value, so let's click on this one. And once you do that, it will show you all of the resources.
Yeah, ultra source.
And how rare they are. So you can see what you're getting here. Let's start right here, because this is one of the first places a lot of people go. They want to know the power level of this land. It's anywhere from 1 to 9. 1 being the lowest, 9 being the highest. And what does a power level of 2 get me exactly?
Well, it alternates. So the cool thing about the Living Lands formula is that it's not directly, it's not a finite amount of rad per power level. There's a base formula that actually changes based not only on the performance of summon, the summoning pool, our stake pool, how many blocks it produces, but also your particular contribution. So all of that factors into how much rad per power level gets produced at its base, and that's pretty nifty in my opinion. So I can't actually answer you a definite number because it changes every epic, and currently with a day left in this epic, a little less than 24 hours, we have 7 blocks.
Ooh,
which
buddy.
is close to an all-time high.
Yeah.
Couple months ago we produced, I think, 11. We've done 9 a couple times, but we're getting close.
Yeah, Daddy's getting paid this week.
I love it. I
Can't-
love it.
can't
Isn't
wait.
it nice when you get like that big of a chunk of rad?
It's like, here's free money just for being early and believing
It's
in our
nuts.
project. I'm telling you. So I guess more in layman's terms, I can expect, isn't it 9 rad per power level? Is that still going on? So this would be 18. Am I off on that, or did I read it wrong?
Oh boy, it's been a while since I don't know the definite number, because like we have the Living Lands formula printed, and you can probably find it right there in the rad paper somewhere. But
Yeah, if you don't mind looking at it on your end, because I want people to know, like, simply
Sure.
by holding this land, I think it's a multiple of 9. So I think you will get 18 rad every epic just for holding this land at a power level 2. If this was at a power level 9, now keep in mind those are going to be more expensive, then you can look to get, I believe, 81 rad every
Well,
epic for
it's
that
more
one.
than that based on how many blocks we produce and how much you're delegated too.
Oh, it's not a flat number.
No,
Okay.
nope. That's why I was saying that's the cool thing about living lands is that it your personal ADA delegation plus how many blocks is produced. So I think every block that's produced on top of the base, there you are correct that there is obviously a base number, but on top of that, every block that's produced, 1,000,000 rad gets added to the summoning pool, and then that gets divvied out on top of your ADA delegation, adding to it.
Really, really nice. Yeah. So if you delegate more Cardano to the pool, obviously you get more rad as well.
Correct.
But you
Correct.
also get bonuses based on this power level of your land, added up by all the total power level that you have. So if, I think mine's at like 200 something. So I get a base, and then I get more, based on what how many blocks they minted. So really, really nice. Down here, quantum flux. Now we just talked about energy. Quantum flux relates directly to how much energy you're going to get. Am I right? And is the calculation about the same?
Correct. Yeah, and it's the similar situation. I don't believe it's tied to your personal ADA delegation. I think that only affects RAD. But the energy, like the other resources, I mean the energy rather. I'm sorry, the energy itself is like the RAD, multiplied by by the quantum flux.
Okay.
But it doesn't matter how much ADA you have delegated for that particular resource.
Correct. So really, you want the highest numbers possible, but if you don't, that's
Sure.
okay, because you're also getting other stuff too. It's about kind of the fraction of the whole. So with this land here, and if you want a really good indicator, especially if you're starting out and you really want to start collecting resources, this trait count is big. 11 is a really nice number. The lowest I've ever seen is 5. The highest I've ever seen is 15 or 16. So that's a really friendly number. And you are getting the rarest fauna in the game, and you're getting the rarest tree in the game as well, for one of the least expensive plots on the board. And you get this anti-gravity class. This is the rarest particle in the game too, is it not?
Yeah, it is. It actually is. Yeah.
So yeah, great value to be had there. And
Oh wait. Yeah. No, I think you're right. Yep.
no, it totally is. Yeah, I can even tell you that. And you can get such good value out of these things. Like, never feel sad that you're getting a cheaper plot, because if you do your homework and you use tools like CNFT tools, you can look this stuff up and see, wow, you are getting tremendous value with a piece of land like this. Now, I'm going to be putting this video out tomorrow. I hope by then this land is still available. It might not be, but you can just sort through all these things. And if you're looking for a particular resource, all you have to do is come over here. Let's say you are looking for Cardanium plots. You go here, and this is how many plots in the game actually have Cardanium. So the less plots have it, the more rare the resource is. So Cardanium is going to be the rarest primary. Copper is going to be the most abundant. So let's say you want those sweet Cardanium plots. There you go. And you can see the floor here is 169, which is certainly going to be under $100 for
Yeah.
the rarest element in the game, as is this one, as is this one. So a lot of really great value to be had, and I feel sorry for the people that don't know this tool and don't use this tool.
I'd say a good thing to also look at, VP, is a trait count. Because while everything is taken into consideration, location, power level, quantum flux, so like the most barren land is, I think, 4 trait count. But so obviously you take that into consideration. But when you see a lot of resources, when you see it busy, when you see a land that looks busy, if you're not caring about the aesthetic being too crowded, keep in mind what that's doing is you're producing a lot of passive assets just on one plot. So if you can look at one and say, all right, well, I really want to plot with copper, but I also want to plot with um, a few other things. Um, instead of going and buying two plots and looking, one for copper and one for this, you could look at, potentially the trait count list and look at 12, 13, maybe 11 trait counts and find some really, really passive gems there.
Yeah, let's just say I want to do this right here. I need copper and I need lightwood, which you find in palm trees. But I don't want to. I don't want to buy two plots of land. I just want to buy one. You can put both of these up here, and it will sort and only show you land that has both of those resources on it. And you can just do your shopping that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
So a really great tool you can use with almost everything that Cardania gives you. And this goes for almost every other Cardano project out there as well. So I wanted to show everybody this here. And now that we have done that, let me go and show you what this whole resource harvesting looks like, because this is really my favorite part. So I'm over at mine. Let me see. Should I go back? I don't even think we need to. This is all the stuff I'm getting. And I've shown you this screen before. This is a new epic, though, so some of these numbers are going to be a little bit different. I'm getting 67,817 rad just for showing up and having these resources and delegating to this pool, along with tokens for all three of these projects. And then all of these resources we just got done talking about, I'm getting as well. And so I am going to get to harvest all of this stuff right here. And as soon as we stop this video, I'm going to do that. And then I think in a couple days, a brand new epic ends. So I'll get to harvest again.
Less than 24 hours.
Yeah, it's just, it never, you just keep getting stuff over and over again.
And I like that it's 5 days, so it's not the same, it's never the same, well, that's the same day every, couple weeks, but it's never the same day twice in a row. So like you don't get stuck in a rut. You don't feel like, oh, every Saturday morning I got to do this. Like, doesn't feel like a chore. When it's every 5 days, it's like this, oh, great. Yeah, it's Tuesday. It's ending today. That's right.
Yeah, I'm so forgetful. I would almost rather it be on the same day, because every time I go check, I'm always 2 days early or something like that.
That's also true. It does work for a lot of people being the same day.
Yeah, but 5 days instead of 7 days, that's good for me. That just means more stuff I get. So I'm super happy with that. And guys, this can be you too. Just go to the Discord if you have any questions whatsoever. Get started on this. We'll even tell you how to set up a Cardano wallet, because you're going to need one. And anything else you want to say about this game that we didn't mention, Roz, that people should know? Because it's not out yet, so we don't exactly know the mechanics. Once it is, believe you me, we're going to be right on top of it. But from a preliminary standpoint, anything else you want to tell the people about it?
Just that I know we're trying to model it after like Clash of Clans and Warcraft style real-time strategy and territory defense. And knowing that we have a Citadel update coming on the horizon, meaning that we'll be able to start crafting some buildings and making some units in the foreseeable future. Yeah, that's all I got for you today.
I'm super excited. Yeah, so we're happy to bring this to you, and like and subscribe. If you're interested in this game at all, we haven't even touched the first-person shooter. We haven't touched the card game yet. We're going super deep into the card game. You get to really choose which aspects and how many aspects of this game you get to play. So stay tuned for that, and we will see you down the road.